Hey guys, it's Crunch here. I'm just going to be doing a rune rundown this time. So this is pretty much a outline of all the sets of runes that you could need. It's just a basic outline, so there will be a lot of people saying, "Oh, but I run this on this person, I run this on this person," and that's entirely fine. I customize my runes in a different way to other people, but this is kind of a generic outline for those that don't know too much about rune setups. I've done a lot of maths behind this and found the most sort of efficient ways to be doing this, and yeah, so feel free to take what I've done here and customize it to your own, play style. I totally recommend that, but this is, as I say, an outline, so just stick with me. And yes, okay. So starting off, the first sort of there are 2 pages that everyone should have. You get given 2 pages, and the first one is just a very, very standard AP page. This is multi-purpose, and I guess if you only have 2 rune pages, this is one of the ones that you should have, because you can use it in the majority of situations. It's got armor, it's got magic resist, just flat magic pen, and flat AP quints. So there's not too much to say about this one here, but if you only have 2 rune pages, this is by far the most efficient page. It's got everything that you need in lower elos in particular to take on most matchups, and it can be used on AP supports. It can be used in mid lane, your AP junglers. Everyone can use this page. It is just a staple page to have if you don't have many rune pages. If you're working towards getting runes, these are the sort of ones that you want to be working towards, because they'll be in a lot of the standard pages, which I'll be showing you. Okay, so we've got AP. Now we're moving on to a standard AD page. So this one here is just flat AD marks, flat AD quints, armor seals, and flat magic resist. This one here is standard, and as I said, goes right across all AD champs, I guess. At mid to low elo, this will carry you through. Just these 2 pages alone will be enough to suffice until you can work up those bonus rune pages and bonus runes. If you're looking at being multi-purpose, like this one here, you can use it on your junglers like Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, Jarvan, and it does really, really well on them. You can use it on AD carries as well. Obviously, you can tweak the AD carries rune pages a little bit better, which I'll show you later on. AD mids as well go really, really well with this. So between these 2 pages here, standard AP, standard AD, the main things you're going to need: flat armor seals, flat magic resist, flat magic resist glyphs. And the reason you want flat magic resist on both pages is just because it gives you survivability. Same with the armor. Especially if you're playing in low elo, I recommend getting the resistances over bonus AP, just because you want to be able to survive and get the AP off the items. This is the most effective way to be building these. And a quick run through of marks, seals, and glyphs and quints for everyone. Marks primarily offense. They actually scale better on offensive stats, and I'll show you in a couple of clips later exactly what I mean by scaling better. Seals specialize in defense, so this is where your armor and your health and stuff comes from. Glyphs is anything magic or ability related, so that's cooldowns, magic resist, ability power, and quints are pretty much just all-rounded. Anyway, I'm moving on. So, standard ADC page. This one here is a balance, so it's pretty much your standard AD page from before, except you've chucked in 2 attack speed quints here, because attack speed quints got buffed in Season 4, and it used to be a standard AD page was the same one as before, but now putting a bit of attack speed in there really, really helps you with sort of attack move and last hitting under turret. And the buff to health seals recently, well not too recently, but this season, and AP supports being quite prevalent, you can find a balance between 5 health seals, which give you the 40 health here, and the 4 armor seals. So that gives you a nice balance in lane between survivability against AP and or like magic and physical damage. So yeah, hope that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so this is one of the comparison pages that I'm talking about. I don't recommend this page. I'm simply doing this just to show you like why I order some of my pages in the way that I do, and it's because there is a difference between putting your marks and your seals into quints and like vice versa. So in this example, I'm going to use marks, which are attack speed, and quints, which are attack damage. I've chucked one of these in here just so that my attack speed number will remain flat. All the other stats are exactly the same, so this is just messing around with the attack speed and attack damage between these two. So, as you see here, full rune page, just swapping these around, swap it over, everything else remains the same, and you gain 0.8 AD. Now, I know it's not that much, but that could be the difference. Like, you know, every auto attack you've got that rounds up to an effective like extra 1 AD. So you know, it's little things like that. This is way more prevalent in the tank stats due to the changes in seals, and I'll get onto that reasonably shortly. So I'm going to move on to supports, and this is my standard AP support page. This is not an aggressive AP support page. I tend to go a little bit more tanky, and supports generally scale off utility rather than magic pen. So like if they have healing capabilities, you don't need magic pen for that to actually scale well. So I forego magic pen and go armor marks. I go health seals, 1 armor quint, and 2 AP quints. Now for magic resist, I think I'm running 6 magic resist blues, and the remainder 3 ability power blues. And now the reason I do this is in regards to stats, I've got a little bit of ability power here, some flat health, which will help me with some tanky stats. I won't drop as quick. As this is especially important on people like Sona and stuff, if you're going to run this page on Sona, because she's really squishy. So it's got a nice balance between armor, magic resist, health, and ability power. As I said, you don't really need the magic pen on some champs, just because this scaling comes with utility, which doesn't require any magic penetration. Now this is more of an aggressive support page, so this is for your champs like Karma, you can go on Morgana, Zyra, Annie, anyone that you're really looking for like a lot of kill potential with that's AP based. So, starting off, we have the magic penetration marks. As I was saying before, these guys do a lot more damage, so we're going to spec into that. Still these health seals, because they're more effective than armor. You're going to take an armor quint, so you've got the 4 armor from the armor quint, 2 AP quints, and 6 magic resist and 3 AP. So that's slightly more aggressive in regards to having the magic pen there. Slightly less armor, as you can see. Alright, so tank support. This is for the tank supports like Alistair, Leona, Braum, yeah, those sorts of like melee champs that just need the flat stats. Tarek as well. I'm running armor here again because tanks are really there just to be soaking up a hell of a lot of damage. And then health seals, armor quints, 2 armor quints and 1 health quint. As well as magic resist blues. So theory behind this is really, really tanky. Like, just be as big as you can, and I'm going to show you in this next slide exactly why I've ordered it exactly like this. The health here is at 98 with health seals, 2 armor quints, and a health quint. Now, if I just reverse the order, like, I'm not taking away any runes, all I'm doing is just swapping around the way that I do this. 78. So that's by running armor seals and health quints. So I've effectively just lost 20 health for no reason. So if you can order your rune page properly, you get bonus stats. And I know the 0.8 AD wasn't that much, but 20 health, that's quite a bit. Like, that's a significant amount. Okay, moving on. Mana regen supports. So, for mana regen support, I'm going hybrid pen, because they'll generally be poking. This is for Sonas, Namis, those two specifically, because they need a lot of mana to be healing as well as poking. So I've gone the hybrid pen, because they've got nice ranged auto attack damage, as well as obviously the spell damage. On top of that, health seals, just like every other support that I've been running. 2 armor quints, 1 mana regen quint, 6 mana regen glyphs, and 3 magic resist, flat magic resist glyphs. This one here is quite nice. It's really good for like sustaining in lane, because these are for more inbuilt heal based supports, as I was saying before, that have the ability to poke and then just regen up. So quite a nice little page on there. Thresh is unique. This can be run on Leona and a couple of the other guys as well. Like, you can interchange these runes reasonably easy. The main difference here is I'm running the exact same, so armor quints, health seals, magic resist, but I've just substituted AD in here because Thresh scales really well with AD off his passive on Flay, which gives bonus damage, etc. So this is really good on Thresh. Also Leona, due to her auto attack reset on Q, so you can like E in, auto Q, auto. If you have an extra 9 AD, that's an extra 27 damage chucked into that combo. So it works quite nicely on her if you don't want to go full tank. Obviously you can substitute this in with many other people, but it's really good on Thresh. Also, alternatives is you can chuck an extra AD quint in here if you're up against a passive lane, and it really helps. But that was more when you used to max the Flay, max whatever was on the passive damage back when it was on Q. I've turned more towards being tanky now. Okay, moving on to mid lane. So this one here is just an alternative mid lane page from before. This is a passive farming mid lane, so this is someone that can sit back really far, farm the waves, and scale into late game. So specifically, I'm going to name Xerath, and this is one that can work for Twisted Fate if you don't have movement speed quints. If you don't think that the other lane is going to have that much kill or poke potential on you, this is a really good page to be able to scale into late game with. But I warn you that because it's all scaling, like scaling health, scaling AP with no magic resist here, you've obviously got no armor in the early game as well. It's quite a risky one to do unless you know how to sit back and just farm it out. And if you can manage that, then you've got free stats coming into the late game. Especially if you're going to be building a chalice on this champ, you can make up for the lost magic resist. Okay, so this is your AP mid versus an aggro AP. This is in a lane where you've got probably shorter range and are going to have to be actively dodging or like up against the other mid laner. So this is the exact same as the standard AP page, but instead of the armor, we're chucking in health, and that is because they're generally going to be throwing a lot of spells at you, and you won't need the armor as much, just on the fact that it's going to be mainly magic damage. So having health there to stop you getting bursted down, miles better. Mid versus AD. You swap out your magic resist for flat AP. So this is 9 flat AP glyphs, and on top of that, you swap out your health for armor. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. AD versus mid AP. So this is like your assassins, Zed, Talon, those that play mid Kha'Zix, those sort of champs. You can be running this page, which is magic resist in order to block their spell damage, health because their auto attacks won't be that much. It's kind of similar to the page before, you know, just stopping yourself getting bursted down, and then running your standard flat AD. And this is AD versus all AD. So if you're up against, like, if you're Zed or let's say Talon or Riven or whatever, up against another AD mid, this is a really good page to take because you won't need the magic resist. This is only if there is no other AP in the game. Like, if, for example, they have a Riven top, Zed mid, Lee Sin or Kha'Zix jungle, then you might take this page. Pretty much cooldown reduction here, just because you don't need the magic resist, and a lot of these AD caster mids, or AD casters in general, can take cooldown reduction quite effectively. Okay, now we're moving on to tank tops. So this is more along the lines of Mundo and Shyvana, the ones that kind of wait it out into... yeah, they're just about surviving until later levels. Now, getting into it, I'm running hybrid penetration marks. This one here is really about how you play the champ and customizing it. I know a lot of people, if they're watching this from any high elos, might disagree, and that's fine. I'm open to nearly every different sort of variation of this. Some people run AD here, you know, some people run just the magic pen, some people run just, yeah, there's a whole lot to run. But anyway, getting back into it, I run the hybrid penetration here because it's really good for, like, one, last hitting as well. If you're on Mundo, having the hybrid penetration for your cleavers as well as your auto attacks, really good. Flat armor seals so that you don't get bullied out of lane too early. This is against AD, obviously. The magic resist scaling because you're up against AD, so this will help you in the late game against the mages without, like, this will give you free stats because you won't have a mage in your lane till you hit like level 8 or 9 come group, so you're going to get the scaling free stats that go above the flat. And finally, I'm running 2 health regen quints and 1 armor quint, and that's because it'll help you sustain in lane, so you won't get bullied out too early, you won't lose your experience advantage or anything, and more armor just so that they can't burst you down. Tank top versus AP. Okay, so here I'm exchanging for an extra health regen quint and removing the other armor quint. This is to help you sustain the lane even better, as well as scaling armor here. The rest is the same. Except for exchanging magic resist for flat. Now, explanation on this. More health regen. This is... You're probably going to get bullied from range and, you know, magic damage, so that's generally going to be coming out of a champ with a mana pool, like in every single case. And my thoughts here is be able to out-sustain their early game poke. They're going to run out of mana, hopefully you can sustain through with enough health. Mages in the first few levels won't really be able to bully you out that hard without draining most of their mana pool. So scaling your health, once you get to like level 6 and stuff, this overtakes a normal flat health seal. So this will help you scale into the late game, and when they start to get items in Power Spike, you'll end up having your free stats here. Flat magic resist, so you don't get bullied out, and yeah, as I explained before. Okay, moving into jungling pages. This is sort of an old school, like this used to be run on your Nautiluses, your Moo-Moos, who else? Like most of those sort of tanky junglers, Sejuani and stuff. This was more of like a season 2 page, but a lot of people still do run it on those champs. It's movement speed. These quints were from ages ago, so ignore the things. Attack speed marks. This is to help them farm the jungle quicker, especially with the changes to Machete, which make it early only on auto attack damage. Make it fast through auto attack damage. 9 armor seals, just to help you sustain early in the jungle. These guys are usually tankier in the late game, so this is just to help you get through the sustain, as well as come out the other side with, you know, a bit more health. Because if you had scaling armor or health here, you take more damage, and then you wouldn't be able to gank because you'd be too low. As well as same thing with the flat magic resist. Is when you're ganking early, you want a lot of stats which are gonna help you survive in the early game trades, I guess. Farm-based jungler. So this is one that I use on my Nocturne, Yi, Warwick, yeah, those champs, which I'm pretty much just going to power farm on, and it's scaling pretty much everything. So attack speed, flat attack speed marks and quints, that gives you the 29% attack speed here. Scaling armor and scaling magic resist. Reasoning behind this is attack speed, the best thing for farming in the jungle for most of these farm-based champs. So this will help you with your clear time. Also, most of them scale off it quite well. Like obviously Yi, Warwick scales pretty well with it, and Nocturne obviously. And in regards to the scaling, it's because you're going to be farm-based. So you're not going to be seeing too much dueling until level 6 plus. And due to that, you can get away with scaling resistances, because once you hit level 6, they're going to be starting to give you free stats over those flats. So yeah, that's really useful to have, in my opinion, is the scaling resistances here. These are some niche like champions who kind of have unusual how do I put it? Yeah, unusual rune pages, or unique rune pages. So I'll just list a few of these guys off. So this is Twisted Fate. You can run hybrid pen here, so armor pen, magic pen, hybrid pen. This can be substituted for just straight magic pen quite easily. A lot of people just run the magic pen out of personal preference, and sitting back and farming, that's actually better. If you're looking at being more aggressive and auto attack poked, the armor pen comes in handy, just for laning. But scaling health here in seals, in order to scale well into the late game there, you can substitute that, because you're going to be getting Zonias generally, which can help with the armor, and you won't have any health based items in your build, so it helps you out that way as well. Movement speed quints. This is really useful on Twisted Fate, being able to get in range for a gold card, being able to kite and stuff. It's pretty much essential on a higher level Twisted Fate player to be running movement speed quints. Here you can have flat magic resist or the scaling AP. A lot of people are running scaling AP at the moment because they'll be buying a chalice anyway in the early game and just sitting back really far, like I said with Xerath, and farming with their wild cards. So yeah, that's a really good Twisted Fate page in my opinion, but once again, comes down to personal preference, comes down to matchup as to how you customize your pages. Evelyn's really strange because she scales off both AP and AD, and this is the really standard Evelyn page that just about everyone I know runs, and it goes down to AD marks because she'll scale off that, and it's most efficient to put them here. AP quints and AP glyphs with standard armored seals. Pretty self-explanatory really. She just everything here is flat because Evelyn wants that early game pressure, early game dueling, or like ganks and stuff, and you want all the stats that you can, mainly into the offensive side of it, just because you are getting the jump on people, so you shouldn't really need those defensive stats early. You can build them later in the game. Rise. Okay, majority of Rise players will be building movement speed quints, very similar to Twisted Fate. Like, this is so that you can kite and catch up to people really, really effectively. Magic pen marks. You can run either armor, health, or scaling health for seals. I quite like the flat health just to get you to the point where you can get your catalyst and stuff, and then that will give you a nice chunk of health, just having the flat plus your catalyst, and no one should be able to really burst you down there. So it helps you in that pre-6 level where stuff can kind of get edgy. Mana for glyphs is really expand your early game mana pool, help you out in your laning. This boosts your damage because Rise is scaling off mana, obviously. So that's pretty standard there. You can also run magic resist if you are up against a mage, but this is kind of a top lane Rise page. Customize it as you wish. Ikram. This is a move speed quint, by the way. All three of these move speed quints. Cooldown reduction. I like to run 5% cooldown reduction. He scales super well if you can get near 40% in the late game. 3 scaling magic resist. 9 armor seals, and these are all armor penetration marks. Reason armor penetration is he scales really well with it on his Q and stuff. He gets a lot of AD off his move speed anyway, so you can get away with armor penetration here. And yeah, okay, that pretty much wraps up my general rune rundown. I hope it helps out. Any questions on specific champs and stuff, feel free to leave them in the comments below. League Bootcamp will be coming out with a lot more content like this, pretty much daily. So subscribe to that, join our Facebook page, and yeah, thanks guys.